Lila and the City in the Bottle. Lila loved her grandmother's attic. It was a dusty treasure trove of forgotten things. One rainy afternoon, tucked away in a heavy wooden chest, she found a peculiar book. It wasn't filled with words, but with a single, thick glass page. Inside the glass was a miniature city, nestled in a bottle. Tiny houses, winding streets, and a magnificent clock tower, all frozen in perfect detail. As Lila traced the outline of the tiny clock tower on the glass, the book began to hum. A warm, golden light spilled from the page, swirling around her. The dusty attic began to feel enormous, the wooden chest like a mountain. She felt a strange, tingling sensation, like fizzing lemonade, as she shrank smaller and smaller. With a gentle pop, she landed on a cobblestone street. The air smelled of honey and polished brass. The city from the bottle, tempora, surrounded her, but it was eerily silent. People were frozen mid-stride. A baker held a loaf of bread that would never reach the oven, and birds were suspended in the sky like tiny statues. "You're moving," a small voice whispered. Lila turned to see a girl with wide, curious eyes peering from behind a statue. She was the only other person not frozen. "I'm Ilara," the girl said. Time stopped when the great clock broke. Only those touching the clock tower's shadow when it happened were spared. Ilara led Lila to the center of the city, to the magnificent clock tower. Its grand hands were still, pointing to a moment just before noon. "The mainspring is shattered," Ilara explained, her voice sad. "Master Theron, our clockmaker, is frozen in his workshop. He can't fix it." "Maybe we can fix it," Lila said, a spark of determination in her eyes. They hurried to the clockmaker's workshop. Inside, Master Theron was frozen, a tiny gear held in his tweezers. On his workbench lay scattered tools and intricate diagrams of the clock's inner workings. Lila studied the diagrams. It looked like a giant, complicated puzzle. "Look!" she exclaimed, pointing to a drawing. "The mainspring needs 3 special gears to work. A gear of sunlight, a gear of moonlight, and a gear of heartbeat." Ilara's face lit up. "I know where those are." They found the gear of sunlight catching rays in the highest turret of the tower. The gear of moonlight was hidden in the reflection of a quiet pond. The final piece, the gear of heartbeat, was the rhythmic ticking of Master Theron's own pocket watch, which they carefully borrowed from his frozen form. With the 3 gears in place, the clock tower shuddered. A low tick echoed through the city, then a talk. The giant hands began to move. Color and sound rushed back into tempora. The baker slid his loaf into the oven, the birds took flight, and Master Theron blinked, looking down at the gear in his tweezers in surprise. The whole city celebrated Lila as a hero. As the sun began to set, the same golden light from the book enveloped her. "Thank you," Ilara said, giving her a hug. "Don't forget us." Back in the attic, Lila looked at the book. The city was no longer frozen. Tiny people moved through the streets, and the hands of the clock tower spun, keeping perfect time, all thanks to a girl who wasn't afraid to help.